What's up guys, BltzZ here today bringing you another video. In today's video I want to talk about what I think is the best materia in the game. My personal favorite, enemy skill. There's a very interesting combination you can do with enemy skill that for me makes it a must have on a melee build. Enemy skill has been one of my favorites from the original Final Fantasy VII. This materia makes your character a blue mage, the most unique mage in Final Fantasy. Blue mages are able to absorb enemy abilities and use them regularly for themselves. In this game, unfortunately, you can only have 4 total enemy skills since we are only in Midgar, but the ones that they include are really good and versatile to use in regular fights. Compared to the original Final Fantasy VII, we are limited to a smaller selection of materia, so this makes the customization feel a bit lackluster at first. But there's still a lot of options for us to choose from that we can use to customize the way enemy skill and other materias work. I hope in this video I open your eyes to the current possibilities while at the same time give you a sneak peek of what's to come in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. You unlock enemy skill by completing Battle Report 16 from Chadley. There is only one in the entire game for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. The abilities and enemy skills scales up and do more damage based on your magic attack stats, so magic ups are really good to pair with for your build on this. The first ability you can unlock an enemy skill is called Algid Aura. This puts an ice attack based aura around the caster that can hit multiple enemies when in melee range. It only costs 1 bar of ATB to cast this and is my favorite of all the enemy skills. You unlock this by having enemy skill equipped and getting hit by the icy aura from the Cerulean Drake. Sometimes with enemy skill you need to be hit by the attack twice before you actually unlock it. Algid Aura is ice based, so enemies weak to ice will take bonus damage from this attack. The range on this aura is pretty small, so you want to get in close and use this on a melee character. Enemies swarming you will continue taking damage ticks as it hits in a full circle surrounding you. This ability is amazing against multiple enemies and trash mobs, not to mention there's an awesome combination I will show you later on in this video, which transforms this attack into one of the best abilities in the entire game. This move also lasts well over 1 minute. Self-destruct is another ability many of you guys are aware of and probably stay away from. This move costs 2 ATB bars and explodes your character, dealing massive damage to the area around you. You can learn this move from 2 enemies. The Smogger in the slums, after he dies, he can self-destruct and hit you, and also the bomb enemy if you let him detonate before beating him. Self-destruct can deal lots of damage but poses a huge risk to your survivability by, well, killing you entirely. The blast range on this isn't the greatest, so enemies can actually dodge this if you're a bit further away from them too. I have a way for you guys to survive while using this, so stay tuned. Spirit Siphon costs 2 ATB bars and creates a giant radius that deals damage to enemies. It also siphons health from them to heal you per tick over time, which can save you in a lot of fights. The problem is, it doesn't last that long at all, barely lasts 10 seconds in battle. You unlock this by getting hit by the attack Essence Drain from the Phantom. In the story, you will come across this enemy, but it's also available to fight in the VR training room. Compared to Algid Aura, Spirit Siphon does more damage and gives you back great health from the enemy. It also has a bigger radius than Algid Aura, but it does cost 2 ATB bars and only lasts 10 seconds. Compared to the over 1 minute lasting Algid Aura, it's not a better option, and I'll explain exactly why when we talk about materia combinations. It's still a very good option to use against trash mobs or multiple enemies. Bad Breath is one of the most iconic and legendary moves in Final Fantasy history. You can poison, silence, and sleep enemies, which is extremely valuable, especially when you need to crowd control. This move belongs to the legendary monster, the Marlboro. However, when the Marlboro uses this move, it's way better than when we use it. They can turn you into a frog on top of the other mentioned debuffs, which for us, we only get the 3. This move has solid range and can actually hit multiple targets at once, especially when they're grouped up. If you are being overwhelmed, be sure to use this to lock down other enemies while you finish off the other mobs. Enemies that can be put to sleep will sleep for about 30 seconds, but if they get hit, they will wake up. But the poison and silence will remain on them until it wears off. If you really want to make enemy skill overpowered, you need to pair this with the blue materia HP Absorb. HP Absorb gives all of the damaging abilities a property to heal you back. My favorite thing about this is that now it makes Algid Aura the 1 bar ATB costing move that hits enemies in melee range, actually drain HP from enemies and heals you back. And this lasts for over 1 minute. So in many fights this can last the entire encounter now, and it's way better than the Soul Siphon because it lasts longer. Soul Siphon still deals more damage, but it does cost more. However, thanks to HP Absorb, you will get back health from all attacks except for Bad Breath. And while Algid Aura is active, you can actually stack it with Soul Siphon to maximize damage and how much more you are healed. Yes, these 2 moves can actually work together at the same time. An absolutely insane combination, especially if you have the extra ATB to spend. This materia combination is what it's all about. It's absolutely broken, and in many fights it will keep you from losing health. Tifa's health bar barely even moved. It didn't even move, look at that. This is amazing on any of the melee characters, but the issue is Cloud and Tifa can be interrupted easily, and this can be really annoying, especially with enemies swarming you. You can most definitely still heal through it, but there is one character who uses this combination the very best, and that is Barret. Specifically, melee weapon build Barret. For those who have watched my Barret Advanced Guide will remember this combination, but Barret with enemy skill can barely get interrupted, especially when he stacks up Steel Skin. Steel Skin gives Barret slightly more defense while at the same time limiting how often he is interrupted while doing attacks. With this materia combination and Barret's defensive buff, he can be a full-on bully bringing on crazy damage while taking nearly none himself. Also, slapping 2 magic ups in this build increases the damage done and healed back to you since enemy skill scales with magic attack. Melee Barret build has been a secret gem in this game that has made me appreciate the effort that they put into this. Almost everyone's build who plays Final Fantasy VII Remake will be entirely different, and that's what's great about this game is that there's no right or wrong way to play this game. Any combinations can work, but these combinations on Barret, at least for me, make him one of the most fun characters to play in this game. This is a huge reason as to why I'm still playing this after a full month it's been released. Make sure you slap an HP absorb on enemy skill and stack those Algid auras with Spirit Siphons when you have the ATB to do so. Remember, this can be used on any character, I just prefer to run it on Barret. Self-destruct by itself is a scary ability to use with very high risk and almost no reward. Normally this can instant kill you and deals a percentage of damage to enemies nearby, but there is a way to survive the blast entirely depending on your combination of materia that you have selected. To entirely buff this move even more, be sure to have HP Absorb attached to enemy skill. Now, in a linkable materia slot, find and equip the Subversion materia. This materia has a passive effect that you can read in the blue font on the right. It says Resistances. You can actually resist instant death. But let's not stop there. There's also a blue materia that I'm sure many of you guys have wondered what is even the point of. The Warding materia, when it's fully maxed out, lets you reduce the debuff duration by 100% of whatever materia it is that you pair it to. So like poison, slow, or etc. Instant death from the self-destruct and the Tonberry is actually considered a debuff. Thanks to these two combined, as well as enemy skill and HP absorb, you can actually use self-destruct and survive the blast entirely. You can also heal a shit ton of health from the HP absorb. So when using this against multiple enemies or trash mobs, you can restore plenty of health. And with over 4 enemies nearby, your health sometimes won't even go down. This is a great example at how diverse the materia combinations can be when we finally get the full-on list in Remake Part 2. Leave a like on this video if you had no idea about this combination prior to this video. I know this game's been out for a little bit now, but there's been so many things to cover, I just couldn't shed light on this until now. Bad Breath is the final enemy skill, and it's a scary one to be hit by in all of Final Fantasy. If enemies can't resist it, they will be put to sleep, silenced, and poisoned. If you hit them, they will be woken up, but the silence and poison will continue to last on them until it wears off or is cured. I like to use this move as a form of crowd control when things start to get crazy with a lot of enemies. This helps you able to focus down one enemy who's just beating you down while the other ones are asleep, unless your teammates hit them and wake them up. It's amazing how many enemies this can hit, and the range is pretty good considering the effects that it can give off. Use this on trash mobs or even tougher enemies, but be sure they aren't able to resist this. When you build lots of ATB and combine all of these abilities together, you can really put together some amazing combinations and completely lock down enemies. I recommend a hard mode playthrough with enemy skill and HP absorb so you can save MP and restore health during encounters. It's best to be used on Barret, but remember you can use this on anyone you choose. You also use no MP at all while casting abilities, so this is just an overpowered and fun option you should definitely try out. The last thing to mention is the fact that if you have enemy skill equipped in the weapon slot and you use Algid Aura, you are dealing ice damage as we spoke about earlier. So enemies weak to ice will take extra damage overall. But you can also run elemental materia with any attack spell like lightning or even fire on your weapon slot as well. This will have you dealing multiple elements worth of damage to enemies and overall increase your DPS. Just an observation you guys should pay attention to and try to take advantage of to completely obliterate and destroy enemies. I hope you guys enjoyed this materia combination, and please leave a comment below if you have any other questions. I'm always happy to answer them. And that wraps it up for this video, guys. I honestly believe enemy skill is the best materia in this game, and I cannot wait for Remake 2 where we can get a hold of all the other abilities that they have to offer. Properly equip your materia in the right slots, abuse enemy skill, and bring on the crazy damage and particle effects that Final Fantasy VII Remake has to offer. Seriously, this game is absolutely beautiful, and I cannot wait to see what this looks like and replay it all over again on PC. next year. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is enemy skill your favorite materia as well? Did you learn things about it that you had no idea of before? Or what else do you guys consider as the best materia in the game? Let's have a discussion going on below. I'm always happy to hear what you guys have to say. Be sure to hit that notification bell to stay on top of new releases because we got lots coming in quickly. And as always, be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new. More Final Fantasy VII Remake videos are coming your way and you won't want to miss that. My name is BltzZ and thanks for watching.